Hey guys, my name's Justin and welcome to Hellsboro, where we care about the design behind designer luxury. And if you do too, make sure to subscribe. So for today's video, I thought it would be fun since it's the end of the year to do a kind of a little recap. And I wanted to talk about the best and the worst bags of 2022. It's either bags that came out in 2022 or even just bags that gained a lot of popularity in 2022. Oh god, what is it called? What is it called? The zeitgeist. What is the zeitgeist saying? I think this is more of me just like ranting and like giving my opinion to nobody who asked. So I thought it would be fun to kind of like, let's talk about the worst one and then one of the best ones. And then, you know, maybe we can, you can even let me know if like, what's wrong with you? That should be opposite. So, but to start, I don't even know the name of this first bag because I like just do not want to perceive it. Oh my god. So this first bag is from YSL and it's called the, I'm not even gonna dignify me remembering the name. It's called the Icare Maxi shopping bag in quilted lambskin. I don't understand why it blew up all of a sudden. I see it all over my FYP on TikTok. I've seen it like on different YouTube videos. I've seen it like all over social media. I'm like, I do not get it. It is basically just like a huge, like quilted leather shopping bag and it's just big. I don't normally talk about the prices of stuff because like for me like price is like whatever you're able to afford versus like what you see the value as. But I have to, this bag is 4,000 euros. This bag is like 4,000 bucks and it's literally just like a piece of like quilted leather just like made into like this like upside down triangle-y kind of shape with like some handles attached. I do not get it. I don't see the design aspect. Maybe I'm just ignorant and there's like some historical context to this bag, or maybe it's just like a giant bag that people love for some reason. I don't get it and I don't see any sort of like exciting thing behind this bag. I don't see any interesting design. Like why do we like it, guys? Like I don't get it. And then what I consider one of the best bags of 2022 is something that maybe you don't get, because also I don't get it. And that is the Pigeon clutch from J.W. Anderson. Again, this is just like a 3D molded plastic pigeon that you open up the wing and it's like, there's a hole in it for you to put your stuff in, but it's basically just like, I don't know, it kind of looks like a kid's toy in a way. This is like the perfect antithesis to the last bag. Like, sure, the last bag is practical because it's a big tote and whatever. I mean, I ignored it just having like the logo on the front being huge. I'm like, I don't get that. Logomania, I think, is like starting to like peter out a bit. But this is the opposite, whereas it's not easy to carry, you can't put much in it, and it looked crazy. But that is precisely the reason why I love it. It's kind of one of those like absurd bags that it's like, why did you make this? But it was made, and it had its viral moment, and people like loved it and hated it when they saw it. And I think for me, I see a lot more interest when it's like a polarizing bag where like sect A of people despise this bag and sect B of people would literally die for it. So I don't know, for me, I love the conversations that have come from it. I love this bag. It's just so fun and so stupid. So next up on my worst bags of 2022 list is the double triangle bag from Prada. Specifically the one that has like one of the triangles is leather and then the other side is this embroidered fabric. Like when it comes to versatility in the bag in general, I think it's just fine. I think I actually completely changed how I felt about it because like I think initially when this bag came out, I was all about it. I thought it was very cute. I thought it was a fun take on like the multi-bag kind of thing. But like reflecting now that we're like close to the end of the year, like this whole multi-bag trend, it really has already had its time. We need to let it go. In the sense that like, it's not that us that needs to let it go, but it's these brands. They keep doing the same things over and over again. Like we get it. You attached two bags onto one strap. It is not clever anymore. And it's gotten to the point, for me specifically with Prada, where earlier in the year I was actually singing the praises of them using the iconography of the Prada triangle within their designs because it was clever and fun. And while I do think the design of this is still fun and they're still using it, there comes a point where like they're literally just making things triangle shaped because they know that's becoming like a recognizable Prada shape. Like even like perfume bottles, there's another backpack that has a triangle shape. I'll just put a picture up. I don't want to talk about it because I think it's the worst design ever. Like the idea of like you opening the zipper on the outside, A, easy to steal from. B, you open up, all this stuff's gonna fall out. Anyways, that's not on the list, but I just had to like get it get it in while I could. The embroidered fabric, I do like the design of it. I think it's smart that they are using these triangles. But on top of that, because it's not like a coated canvas or anything like that, it's easier to get dirty. And I think when you're working with these kinds of materials, especially on like crossbody bags where you're not always like looking at it, I think that's always like a tricky situation for people who buy these bags. And like, I'm glad that like I'm not the only person who feels like this about this bag. Mandy Lee, I think her handle is like Old Loser in Brooklyn on TikTok. She did a list like this as well. She brought up some of the similar points. I think she was probably like more educated about it since she's a fashion analyst. For me, that really like cemented in my mind that I'm like, yes, my opinion is correct. And then on the other side, for one of my best bags of 2022 is actually the Eastpak Telfar collab, specifically because it's the one I have and it's the one that I use and it's the one that I love, the medium shopping bag backpack. So this bag is done in a technical material, nylon, and it's done very well. It's an interesting shape and it has a lot of versatility. You can shorten the strap so that it's more of a shoulder bag. You can lengthen it so that it's crossbody or just off shoulder sill, and then there's backpack straps. It's almost like tactical, kind of like being able to wear a bag in different ways, and then having a backpack in this rectangular shape I think is a lot of fun, especially because it kind of like calls back to the actual like Telfar shopping bag. It just offers, for me, I think this like unparalleled level of versatility that I haven't had, where it's become easily one of my go-to bags. I use it at least once a week, if not more, and not to like take it to work or anything like that. It becomes such an easy go-to bag because it's so comfortable. It still has a little bit of branding. And then of course it has like the whole like idea of Telfar and like accessible luxury. I think that is one of the most exciting things about what these bags mean. Alright, and then for the last worst bag of 2022 is the Fendi Fendigraphy. Honestly, I want to say I have nothing against it. I actually do love, in concept, the idea of like this super like circular round ho-oh bag with these like metallic letters to act as the feet for the bottom of the bag. In theory, this is a really fun bag, and I do think it's so interesting. But then, in practice, like, it kills me. I'm like, did you guys not think of this? But when you put your bag down on the table, what's gonna happen to those letters? They're gonna get scratched. That's the whole point of feet. So by making the feet into something that you want to call attention to, you're showing off the wear of your bag. I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. On top of that, it's also like, sure, like, it's a cute idea with having Fendi there, but then of course it's like, you're screaming, I have a Fendi bag! Like, I can guarantee you that if you bought any of the other Fendi bags, people would still know you have a Fendi bag. Like, if you buy a Peekaboo, if you buy a baguette, if you buy a Fendi First, you won't have to have a thing that screams the brand name. And that thing that screams the brand name isn't going to get all scuffed up. And then before I get to the last best bag of 2022, I did want to give an honorable mention. So this is an honorable mention, yeah, an honorable mention. Does that sound right? I feel like a little drunk. I'm not drunk. But it's an honorable mention, because I haven't gotten to see one of these in person, mainly because I don't go to Louis Vuitton often, and I just haven't gone to Louis Vuitton ever since it came out, because I'm like, whatever, it's not like for me necessarily. So this bag came out and it was like, everyone was talking about it, and with good reason. I love that you get the idea of Louis Vuitton from like the trunk, like sides, these two structured pieces on either end of the bag, and then the soft is like squishy and it looks very like soft and malleable. I think that's kind of the whole thing about this bag. It's a nice set of contrasts. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to touch it, so I can't really speak to if it's actually like soft and like good. But I have to say, like, I think this is one of the smartest designs that Nicolas Gasquet has put out at Louis Vuitton. Again, the actual like last of the best of 2022 bags is gonna be a surprise still, and that is the Chanel 22. There's something about this bag, and I don't know if Virginie Viard meant to make it have a little bit of complexity here, but like, I just see a little bit of humor. Because you basically have like a shoulder bag, kind of like a hobo shape, but then like in the way that it's done, it looks a little bit like a trash bag. And of course, like there's been other brands that do like trash bags, like Louis Vuitton back in the day with Marc Jacobs. Balenciaga had that like literal trash bag, but it feels a little bit more subtle. Because I can't tell if it's meant to be there. That's one of the things I find so intriguing. And I don't know if the people that buy this bag realize that there's this potential for humor where it looks like they're just carrying like a little trash bag with chain straps. But again, I do have to say, when I tried it on, I did like the structure of it. I did like the way that it felt when you carried it. There was a moment where I was like, am I gonna buy a Chanel bag? And this is my first Chanel bag gonna be the 22? Because this definitely looks a little bit like a trash bag. It's a little unexpected and it feels more casual than some of the other Chanel bags that currently exist. But I think it's also like a very welcome addition to a family of bags that has like high esteem and almost a certain level of formality with it. Well, this kind of feels like the cool like punky sister who's like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, those are my best and worst bags of 2022. I'm a little surprised at the ones that I pulled out for it, specifically like the last couple. Well, I mean, for the Fendigraphy, it's a bag that I love, but then in practice, it's like, what? And then the Chanel 22, which like, I feel like I'd never talk about Chanel, Louis Vuitton, like on this channel because like, they don't really do much for me design-wise. But when it comes to the bags that I put on this list, there's either something that I just don't get about the bag or something that I don't think works about the bag when it comes to the worst bags. And then it's kind of funny because some of the best bags I also don't understand, but then I see that there's a little bit more to it and it's done in a way that's at least, I think, interesting and makes you think rather than like, oh, I'm thinking about it, but not in a good way. You know what I mean? But let me know, did any of your bags make this list? Do you like any of these bags or have any of these bags? Because I always like hearing from you guys. But that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you too care about the design behind designer luxury. Until next time.